Welcome, juniors. This is week 4 into the online learning thanks to COVID 19. A couple of reminders. As we finished up our 60s project, I think I emailed everybody back individually, but just remember, double check, always make sure when you post things in Classroom, make sure it is as you're putting on there. Sometimes some of you put your videos or whatever, and had a hard time hearing what your voice was. Some of you just plain forgot to even put a voice on there, and so I adjusted your grade accordingly. If you have any questions about that, you can check Infinite Campus and then get back to me. So I liked going through and seeing all the projects and seeing what you guys created. I know it was a really open-ended assignment, but that will be what we spend quite a bit of our time with on the Zoom on Wednesday, is talking about your project. So be prepared to share a little bit about how the project impacted you, whether it was you had the hippies or Cuban Missile Crisis or the Everglades or Martin Luther King or whatever the case might have been that you had, and just be ready to share a little bit about that. That's where our focus will be on Wednesday. So obviously that's the first thing that you got to do for this week is you have to Zoom with me at either 9 a.m. or 1 p.m. on Wednesday. And just to remind you guys, as we're moving forward, this will be the third Zoom. I'm only requiring one Zoom per week. So when you log in, get in there 5 minutes early. And when you get in, be ready to go. Okay, that is the expectation when you come on the Zoom, that this is a professional setting, that it is a classroom. I expect you to pay attention. I expect your eyes to be on me. I don't expect your eyes to be looking down over here or the phone that is laying over here that you're texting with your buddy or whatever. I expect you to pay attention. So it doesn't matter if we're doing online learning or if you're in the classroom. You know that I would not allow that to happen. And so be respectful of your classmates. Remember, one person, you can see everybody on your screen. And so one person that is distracted and laughing over in the corner, you are distracting to other people. And so just remember that. And as we move forward, and that goes for my class, it goes for other classes, and maybe for when you go into college as well. So hopefully we don't have to worry about that too much longer. When we get back to class, we can get back to seeing everybody every day, but we just make do with what we got. So first thing you got to do is you got to Zoom with me on Wednesday. Be ready to go. No hats, no hoods. Just be there, be ready to go. The second thing that you have for this week, and I'll kind of touch on this at the Zoom, but there's a Hip Hughes video that I would like you to watch. It's like 8 minutes long. It deals with the gulf of talk and resolution. I touched on this last week in our Zoom, but that was the resolution that gave LBJ all the power to do whatever was necessary in the Vietnam War. A couple of the things that as you watch that video, I would like you to think about. There's a really big deal at the end of that video, which is one of the 3 questions that you got to answer. And then is it fake? Is it real? And then what were the ships included in there? Okay, so you got to answer 3 questions over that Hip Hughes video. It's 8 minutes long. Probably should take you about 15 to 20 minutes total on that assignment if you're not having to stop it too much. And then the third thing that you're doing for this week, is I came across a really good Agent Orange video. It was actually by the Unreported World is who put this out. I found it. It's a YouTube video. They put their video on YouTube, but it's like 23 minutes, and it's about the effects of Agent Orange, which is what the United States used during the Vietnam War We dropped it from planes. It was a herbicide. It was this dioxin, is what it's called, TCDD. That basically we just dropped it on the jungle, and one day later, all the vegetation was dead wherever this herbicide hit it. And so what we've come into now is that 50 years later, almost 60 years later now, is that the people that are living in those areas today or even back then, their genes have been affected. And so they are passing on some of these genetic disorders to their children. And so there is a significant amount of the population in Vietnam that are being born with birth defects. And so I think the video does a really good job of looking into a few individual settings that have some questions that I would like you to answer. But the other thing that I didn't ask you, but I think is really progressive to think about in today's day and age, but should the U.S., should we be brought to trial for war crimes for using Agent Orange during the Vietnam War? And this is a topic that I've never really brought up to any junior class ever. But I think that this video does a really good job. I mean, we kind of touched on it from time to time in years past, but I think it. So as you watch this video, and I know it's long, it's 23 minutes, I get it, but I watched it, and it's pretty solid, and so I really want that to be our focus for the next week's Zoom, and so really spend some time watching that video, answering the questions, go in depth when you're answering, and then not only will I read your answers over the weekend, but then we'll use that as kind of our driving point for next week in the Zoom. So I hope you had a good Easter. I hope everything's going well, and hopefully we're just keeping on and plugging ahead, and hang in there. And if you need anything, email me, call me, and hopefully this was the last snow that we're going to have to deal with. Continue to help your parents out, and just keep your chin up. So we'll see you on Wednesday, juniors. Look forward to it.